in it. So his minifig appeared in several sets, big and small, and in blind bags made for the movie, which means that you can actually get a hold of Emmett pretty cheaply, only around $1. Though again, these were all made to tie into the Lego movie, so we won't be counting those. But, believe it or not, actually buying the individual parts for his head, torso, legs, hair, and everything else you need for this minifig is way cheaper than $1. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually just buy Lego parts individually from secondhand markets. It's really nice. So getting him actually only costs just...
Good day for a date?
Do this, but you can actually just buy Lego parts individually from secondhand markets. It's really nice. So getting him actually only costs just 36 cents, and every penny is going to count here, trust me. Other main characters are just as easy and cheap to get a hold of, including Wild Style, Ma and Pa Cop, and even Batman. I mean, we have like a billion Batman sets to choose from. Oh, and we should also mention that some characters go through changes in the movie, like Bad Cop drawing his good face back on, and Vitruvius getting blinded, so we'll need pieces for all of those different versions of those characters.
All I'm asking for is total perfection.
Obviously, that'll bump up the cost, but it's still not too much. Like, we haven't even broken a 20 yet, but we haven't hit the more complicated minifigures yet either. Like, for example, Meadow, the pirate master builder who lost his original body and is now a giant pirate-themed mech. We love someone who stays on brand. If we count up all of the pieces here on his mech body, including some of the more unique ones, like the shark and the cannons on his arm, that bumps up the cost to recreating Metalbeard all the way up to, gasp, $4.99. That's actually quite a bit less than I was expecting, to be honest. Oh, and just to mention it here, it also means we can knock off the 206 pieces used in his build off the final total we'll need to calculate at the end of the theory. I'm not going to mention that for every single character or set or whatever, but just know that in the background we have considered that. Now, after breaking down a giant mech pilot, you might be surprised that our next most expensive minifig isn't actually going to be something big and complicated. It's actually one of the most basic characters in the movie. This is Benny, and he was actually based on one of the director's astronaut Lego toys from the original space sets from the 1980s. Like, Benny even has like a faded chest and like a cracked helmet piece to show that he's just been loved to death. Also, fun fact, but since this movie came out, new Benny minifigs have like the crack and the faded torso on purpose. The director's gotta feel great that his love for Benny has literally changed the actual toy, too. Anyway, you might be thinking, wait, this guy is basic. Why is this going to be difficult? Well, it's because he's old. Like I said, he's from the original sets in the 1980s. And this exact style of Benny is going to be a bit more difficult to get a hold of in modern sets. In fact, the helmet itself here is incredibly expensive, well, comparatively, because it was so easily damaged. That crack wasn't just for show. There's just straight up not many of these guys left. And because of that, the helmet alone costs $6.95. And in total, you're looking at $7.43 to get all of Benny. So that one's down. Who's next? Well, out of all of the main characters, this leaves us with just two. The main villain, Lord Business. You thinking, why we saved him for last here in this section? Well, despite the Lego movie focusing on real Lego pieces and not making up new ones, the only places they broke that rule were with Lord Business's armor and with Unity. For Lord Business, they had custom pieces designed exclusively for the movie, including his helmets, chest plate, and legs. I'm assuming that they wanted him to feel like long, out of place, so even hardcore Lego fans would be surprised by them, you know? So technically, if we wanted to do this legit without any pieces from sets created after this movie, we could. Thanks, Business. But just like the movie made an exception here, we're going to as well. These pieces did appear in one set after the movie was released. So to get the full Lord Business minifig, it's going to cost us $7.88, which leaves us with... Yes, hello, Princess Unikitty. She was actually an original character created exclusively for the movie, so again, they had to make a couple of unique pieces for her. But, believe it or not, that's not the reason this chirpy, optimistic princess costs so much. No, that's because of the sheer number of transformations she has. Like, she has her business outfit.
Business, numbers, business, what? Yes.
spaceship outfits, she gets seasick, and angry as heck, and every one of those is going to set us back a pretty penny. Thankfully, most of the Unikitties are just basic Lego pieces with unique faces and tails, so her outfits won't cost a ton. The main cost is actually going to be those unique faces, which appeared in the Lego movie sets that were only around for about a year before being retired. They also have a problem with color. See, not all Lego bricks are created equally. Yeah, I didn't actually know this going into this episode, but some colors actually cost more to make than others, and the most expensive colors just aren't used as much. I would just love to know the business reasoning behind this, because the colors of the filament need for like 3D printing doesn't really have a ton of cost variance. Like the basic filaments that bamboo sells pretty much cost all the same no matter what the color is. It's only when you get to the like multicolored or sparkly filaments that the price starts to jump up. Anyway, for Lego, one of the pricier colors is sand green, the color used for seasick Unikitty, thus making the sand green tail on her cost $15 alone. But I guess that means trying to buy her all together at $60, so we'll go with the cheaper option and buy those individual parts. Total amount, $21. So, altogether here, the minifigs for our main characters are going to cost about $54.30.
You know, why am I insisting on doing hyper boom here?
Track down all of that information and put it all together. Gotta say, if this is how things are going to go for the rest of the movie, I'm going to really need to speed things up if we're going to beat this 3D print. Like, we're already almost through the time it took me to figure out just how to use this thing. We gotta keep moving. Okay, so obviously the main characters in the movie aren't the only named ones in the movie. There's a whole group of powerful minifigs called the Master Builders, and they include a bunch of characters from Lego's history, historical figures, and famous fictional characters like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Milhouse, and Superman. It's an eclectic group.
My fellow master builders, including, but not limited to, Robin Hood, Mermaid Lady, Gandalf, Swamp Creature, 1980-something Space Guy, 2002 NBA All-Stars, and one.
These guys are a huge chunk of the characters in the film, and some of them can be pretty pricey. That's two. Some of them can be pretty pricey, so let's dig in. Among the Master Builders are characters from blind bags made over the years, and also more unique characters found exclusively in blind bags created for the movie. We will end up counting those just like we did for Lord Business and Unikitty, just since, they were uniquely made for the film. These are relatively common and cost just between $1 and $4 each. Though I will say some of them have unique pieces, meaning they could cost just like a little bit more. Now, I expected the other characters who weren't in blind bags, but were parts of older sets, like Robin Hood, Johnny Thunder, and Speed Racer, to end up costing more, but that wasn't actually the case. The biggest cost there came from Robin Hood's torso, which set us back just $6.30, but otherwise, these prices are solid. Finally, the Master Builders from recent sets are pretty cheap, as were the characters from big franchises like Milhouse, Michelangelo, the DC Heroes, Gandalf, and the Green Ninja, Lloyd.
It's Lloyd, Dad. What?
Oh, hey, it's Ninjago. Should really think about that something, shouldn't we? Surprisingly, one of the harder ones to find is actually Dumbledore. Pronounced Dumbledore. Sorry, Dumbledore. Now, you might be thinking, hold up, isn't the Harry Potter Lego, everywhere? How is Dumbledore gonna be hard to find? And you're right, but the movie doesn't use the Dumbledore toys in sets. See, when Lego makes sets for franchises like Star Wars, Harry Potter, or whatever, every few years they'll release a new set of updated details, including improved minifigs. For example, Star Wars Legos originally had yellow faces, but they've since been updated and changed to match the character's skin tone. When new figures come out, the old ones stop being made, meaning that the older ones are much rarer, and it's exactly the case with this Dumbledore. See, the Dumbledore here in this film is actually from the 2nd edition Hogwarts set, with white.
Is there no way to avoid this guy activating his
versions of Hogwarts?
stupid thing?
Dumbledores that don't use that robe, meaning that this Dumbledore is super rare and will send us back a massive $30.03. Similarly, though most of these Star Wars cameos are pretty easy to get a hold of, one of them is going to be a problem.
Hold on, man. You might be the right galaxy after all, because I see it. But
Yeah, for some reason they mixed and matched parts from past versions of Lego Lando, some of which have been updated or discontinued. The body for this Lando is from an older version of the minifig they don't make anymore, but you can find it online for $90. $90! His head is similar. It's from a more recent piece, but it's still rare and can go for $25 just for the head. So while Lando only has a few minutes in the film, that's gonna cost us $115. Dude, come on. Okay, so we only have a couple of master builders left, but tracking down all these pieces so far has taken up like way more time than I figured it would. Like, dude, why are they mixing and matching different sets to get what we need? It's stupid. And this critter is still wearing away. I can already see our little nearest Lego man taking shape. We gotta keep going. See, Lando is not the rarest or weirdest minifig in this movie. That honor actually goes to Green Lantern. Green Lantern of all people. See, there have been a ton of lanterns throughout the years. The comics, the movies, cartoons, and the Lego. Seriously, there have been no fewer than 7 Green Lantern minifigs over
Jesus
the years,
Christ.
with even more only appearing in video games and stuff like that. The Green Lantern here in the Lego movie is the Hal Jordan version of the character, with dark hair and a serious face in the actual Lego. But, as you can tell in the film itself, this lantern has more of a goofy face. The only way to get that goofy head is through the Green Lantern minifig from the second Lego movie, which costs almost $10? Jeez, all that for a plastic head? But that's not the worst of it. See, normally Green Lantern's body is black, white, and green, but this one is different. It's all shades of green. This was actually a super rare minifig released as part of a Comic-Con raffle in 2011 to tie in with the terrible Ryan Reynolds movie. There were only about 1,500 of these ever made, and they sell for over $560 online. No thank you. Let's go the cheaper route and buy the pieces separately and build our own. But even then, just the torso costs almost $100. That's insane. Either way, we gotta buy it for the movie, so just fine, add to cart, whatever. Anyway, though this covers most of the master builders, I have to say, one of them did actually stump me for a bit.
Calm yourself. Michelangelo.
Yeah, so that right there is the famous artist Michelangelo, the guy who did like the Sistine Chapel and the super famous statue of David. And as far as I could tell in my research, he's never actually had an official Lego made out of him. Like, never, ever. So we're gonna have to mix and match to make our own, and this is totally gonna eat into that time for this 3D print, dude. Thankfully, most of the pieces weren't too hard to track down. We need a yellow face, doesn't matter which one, because it'll be covered by this beard and this beret. Slap all that together, and that's the head taken care of. The body, though, was a bit tougher. I couldn't find anything that remotely looked like his torso online, and the best that I could do was this. It has a large wolf pattern on the front that isn't in the movie, but it'll mostly be covered up by the beard, so it's acceptable. The reddish-brown legs with light orange boots were also pretty rare, and the closest I could come up with were these brown legs. This smock with paint all over it doesn't actually exist, meaning that I had to go with a non-painted version, which is actually just a graduation gown. And finally, we also need the hammer and chisel. And after all of that, it'll cost us $10.11 to make Michelangelo from scratch, making him one of the more expensive basic minifigs out there, but also one of the most time-consuming ones to actually figure out. All in all, the master builders are going to cost us $364.61, bringing our running total to $418.91. I'm going to be real, I expected that number to be way higher, but my real concern here is just how much time it took to track all of that data down. Between all of the minifigs so far, this has taken me about 6 hours, completely blowing through the time it took to sit down and learn about the printer, and the time it took for me to actually get scanned into the 3D printable file. We're already moving into the time it's going to take to print out what we need here. Not gonna lie, it was already getting me to sweat a little bit, but we gotta keep going. So, that's all of the main characters that appeared in the movie, but there are still dozens and dozens of different minifigs used in the rest of the film. I mean, there are tons of shots where there are hundreds and hundreds of characters on screen, doing stuff in the background or during a big fight or a dance number or whatever. At first, I was hoping that the filmmakers noted just how many minifigs they used, like they did with the other aspects of the film, but sadly, I couldn't find any of that information. So we were gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. We were gonna have to sit down and count these by hand. And what's worse, by doing that, there is no way for us to tell whether or not a character in the background was the same as in another scene, and therefore can be reused. So just to make things as fair as I can, every single minifig we're counting here is going to count as a new character. You almost certainly wouldn't need to do this if you were making this movie IRL with stop motion, but, you know, we're playing it straight, don't worry about it. And let me tell you, loyal theorists, this process was mind-numbing. In just the first 10 minutes of the movie, I counted around 1,000 minifigs. The big fight at the end was also chaotic as all heck and just so difficult to count. And then there was this scene, which had so many characters that then stretched out into the background and got so blurry I couldn't tell what was what. I could pretty easily count 15 by 15 rows on either side of Lord Business here, but it stretches on further into the background, so I just decided to make it 15 by 30 to be safe. Regardless, by the end of things, I counted up a total of 3,179 total minifigs in the entire movie, mostly just in the background as generic extras. Now, knowing exactly what type of minifigs these were was going to be challenging. Impossible, in fact. So instead, I decided the best thing would be to try to be as generic as I could.
Man, it sucks I don't have an AFK
while also
team.
going for a bit of variety, but thankfully, getting a
I guess
hold
you
of a
could
lot
cut,
of
but I don't have you built
yet. Actually, all that difficult. In fact, people sell this stuff in bulk for about $300 for 100 minifigs. Doing some basic math there, we'll need to buy 31.32 of these lots, totaling out to roughly $9,396. Again, honestly, not as big of a price as I was expecting. But that together with the rest of the main cast, $55.80, and the master builders, $364.61, and that's a total of $9,816.41 for all the minifigures in the whole movie. Counting all these things also took me about another 5 hours of solid work, pausing and counting up all the minifigs, and as you can tell here, I'm pretty here in the bamboo.
Wow, a single hit from Noel.
We're quickly running out the clock, man. I'm really not sure we're going to be able to beat this thing. Thankfully, despite not being a ton of the LEGO pieces, figuring out all of the minifigs is the lion's share of the actual work that's going to be needed here to work out the price. But we're still not quite done yet. Now, we have to get the bricks for the rest of the movie. But before we get to calculating the massive number of just normal bricks and their cost here in the film, there's one last thing we need to do, and that's to see what specific sets we can find. Like, going into the film, I kind of expected to see a lot of actual real-world sets, right? For whatever reason, I remember there being castles and spaceships and the like, and surely they were going to be stuff like Hogwarts, or like something from Lord of the Rings, or, you know, just something like that. But honestly, there's only really one set here in the movie. Like, okay, sure, there's a scene where Wildstyle references a few of the LEGO worlds.
There's also this one, Pirates Cove, Vikings Landing, Clown Town, a bunch of others we don't need to mention.
Shout-outs to Bionicles, by the way, that was my jam growing up, but after going back and rewatching this scene, we don't need to include any of these. Notice how the actual pieces of the sets aren't here in the movie. We just see art from the sets, stuff that would have been on the boxes or ads, not the actual bricks. So we don't need to include them. And if we're making this movie by hand, we can just print that out, baby. So, okay then, what's the one set we do need to talk about? Well, clearly, it's the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. I mean, this is probably one of the most iconic LEGO sets ever, and definitely only showed up to remind kids, hey, we have Star Wars LEGO, go buy them. Now, there have been a few LEGO Millennium Falcons over the years, but based on when this came out, just how big it is compared to Han and Lando sitting inside of it, I'm going to say that this is the Millennium Falcon from 2011. This was a playset rather than a big collector's item, and online it sells for about $65. But that's if you buy the whole set in box. If we really wanted to, we can actually bind every single brick and buy them independently. And because I'm crazy, we're going to do that. So if you buy up all the bricks alone without the fancy packaging, this thing only comes out to $11.59. That's an 82.17% 15% savings. And you would be absolutely insane to do that. So don't. Just don't. Okay, so now we need to get to the real meat and potatoes here. The rest of the 15 million Lego pieces that make up the rest of the movie. Now, to be exact, like I said earlier, we're actually going to take away all of the pieces used in the minifigs and the Millennium Falcon, but that still leaves us with a total of 15,078,810 pieces we need to buy. But again, just like the minifigs in bulk, this shouldn't be too hard to figure out. See, there was no way we were going to be able to track down exactly which bricks were used, where, and how many, and all of that jazz. Trust me, our writing team and I talked about it, but the sheer amount of time, manpower, and just guesswork that would be required meant that we were going to have to figure out a different method here. So, what exactly did we land on? Well, based on the parts of the film where the team and I did try to break down what pieces we could find, we noticed that the movie seemed to be using basic pieces wherever they could, rather than large pieces to make things. For example, the sails on Metalbeard ships are entirely made of smaller Lego pieces, rather than something large, complicated, and custom-made for the movie. Like, the filmmakers were clearly trying to go for detail here, right? So we decided that our best bet was going to try to find this many pieces in bulk. And I mean in bulk. That should make things easier, but what are the prices of this gonna look like? Well, to start out with, the largest box of Lego that the company itself offers is the classic creative brick box containing 790 pieces at $59.99. So, in order to get all of the pieces we need, we'd have to buy 19,087 of those boxes. Easy peasy! And that would total at about, $1,145,035.20. That's a lot. Are there any other options that might be a little cheaper? Thankfully, there are. Lots of people are selling Lego in bulk on eBay for as many as 1,000 pieces for just $36. At that rate, we need to buy 15,080 of those sorts of lots, which would cost about $542,891.88. Still a lot, but hey, way more reasonable. But, believe it or not, there's an even cheaper option still. See, as I've researched this episode, I've come to the realization that individual Lego bricks are actually not all that expensive. Most just cost like a penny or two, next to nothing. It's only when you get into these specific pieces, or larger sets, or branded things, or things that only came in specific sets, where things actually start to get pricey. So, if we were to be the worst Lego customer in history, we could just buy all of the bricks individually for like 2 cents a piece. And all of a sudden, that 15 million pieces will cost us just $301,576.20. Just a couple $100 grand. Jeez, man. But with that now done, let's call time. So before I reveal the final total for the Lego movie, how's the print in the Bamboo Lab going? Oh, yep, okay, they're done. Let's compare time, shall we? Overall, it took me 32 hours to research and write everything in this script.
I don't actually care about you.
Every piece used in the minifig, the different sets that were used, counting the background extras, and just calculating the price of the bricks really added up over time. This seriously was like over a week of work straight. So put that 32 hours on the board. On the other side of things, in the end, the 2 hours it took me to get scanned, and the 5 hours of setup and learning how to actually run things with the printer, printing out our simple, not Lego man, took about 3 hours, and the big A&G model of me took just over 20. It was a much bigger print with more complicated surfaces and parts. That's why it took so long. So add that all up, and that's just over 30 hours. A Bamboo Lab print just barely 1 year, but hey, I'm not super surprised given just how much work it was tracking down everything in the Lego movie. Speaking of, our final number here for the price of the Lego movie after all of that work and research, drumroll please, $311,404.20. To be fair, that's not nearly as much as I was scared it would be. I was expecting a couple million at the very least, and it's also way below the movie's production budget of $60 million. But hey, that would still be a lot of cash to drop on this ridiculous project. And just think of how much your feet would hurt if you stepped on just one of those Lego pieces. I mean this in all sincerity when I say that that sort of cash would be better spent investing in one of Bamboo Lab's printers, because of all the crazy awesome stuff you can make with it. And while yes, that is a segue for us to once again thank them for reaching out and sponsoring this episode, code, I'm also being completely serious. I love this thing and will absolutely be printing out more stuff with it. Go follow me on Instagram at Forest First if you want to follow along there with that. Seriously, Bamboo Labs have been amazing partners here, and if you have any ideas that you want to see come to life, please go check out their printers by going to bamboolab.com or using the link in the description. You will not regret it. But with all that said, remember that it's all just a theory. A thin film theory. And cut.
Where can I splurge $500,000 real quick? Yeah, I'm correct. Bah. Let's get everything to 6. Well, assuming the normal attacks need to be leveled up. I assume they don't really need to be. Both Skirk and fucking Nefer are at the precipice of playability. What's the point? I already got everything here. Alright, I should be able to get this by Wednesday.
Ad Astra. Thank you for complete. Ad Astra. But it's such fine weather for a... Oh, all right. I suppose a few rounds...
Why are you even here? Wow, nice deck.
The pleasure is all mine. Reconstitute! Blitz. Neutralize! Time to get down to business. Go!
No avoiding catalyze from here. Buckle up! By royal decree!
No. Blitz. It would be my honor. This'll brighten up the place.
Going out is tiring.
Jesus.
Fräulein.
Oh my, weren't you merciless? Was that a strategy tailor-made for me, I wonder?
I wanted to watch Yu-Gi-Oh, not that. Oh, this one's fun too. That's an ad.
All good? No. And if somebody asks you if you're gone, what do you say? Vague, generic statements that kind of hint at me being God. That's right. Now, can we go back? Hey, Jesus, you God? Before Abraham was, I am. That's perfect. Like, what does that even mean? It means you need a grammar lesson, that's what that means. Can we go back to what you said earlier? Okay, what is bothering you specifically? The crucifixion. I don't see the issue. Sounds awful? It's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. No, it's gonna be terrible. This is gonna be awful. Like, it's not gonna be you at all. But why do I have to be crucified? Because, okay, but I'm gonna have powers, right? God's son, so shouldn't hurt? No, sorry. Mel Gibson can't work with that. I'm not gonna have any powers. You will have some powers. Like speed and flight and strength and all the cool ones, right? Not even slightly. Why can't you give me cool powers? Hey, I don't make the rules. Then who does? For the crucifixion, it is Mel Gibson. We're contracting him out. Big movie. Well, that's depressing. But okay, which powers will I have? Dude, you ready for this? Walk on water. What? Walking on water. Imagine the chicks you'll pull. Okay,
I got you, boss.
What about the kids and sex, though? It's kind of a thing. Your life's gonna suck. I don't make the rules. Will I at least have
Let's get it
super
on.
speed while walking on water? Like Dash from The Incredibles? You will walk at normal ass speed. Run. I'm sorry, did I say run on water or walk at normal ass speed on water? Where did I put that? When will I need to use this? You know when you're at the pool just pounding pina coladas? Of course. And the bathroom is on the other side of the pool, so you have to walk all the way around and it adds like 20 seconds for no reason. You won't have to deal with that anymore. Wow. You're welcome. So that's all I'm going to be able to do. Dude, the list just goes on. You ready for this? Is it going to be stupid? It's going to change your life, so what it's going to do. Just go. Water into wine. You're welcome. What? You trying to party. Water into wine. Greatest power ever. So we can get
extra drunk at parties? Still haven't heard a thank you. How many reasons could there be to use this power? I'll make 20 dinner for 20. Let's say it's raining outside and a slip and slide appears. Who are you calling? Jesus, that's who. I'm trying to slip and slide in wine. Okay, that's sort of a good reason. Now imagine you have 2 chicks in your hot tub, but they're sober. Ding! Oh, what? Where did this come from? You guys want... can I turn wine into water? No, because it only goes the fun way. In the desert? Really? I think turning wine into water would be a little more useful. Oh, yes, the power to be a buzzkill. That's what you want your power to be? Being a piece of shit? What other powers am I gonna have that might actually help with, I don't know, the crucifixion? Is walking on water isn't helping with that. But the wine will, trust me. Okay, fair. Nah, pop quiz. Are you gone?
Okay, fine.
Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. That's such an obnoxious response. Like, just say yes or no. What other powers do I have? This one's so good. I guarantee it's not. You like bread. When it's surrounding a layer of peanut butter and jelly, sure. No, can't do that. Just pure bread. What kind of bread? Wonder bread. Best kind. So I'll have the power to make bread appear. Infinite bread glitch. Does it come with butter? Do you know how expensive butter is? How does this help with the crucifixion? Well, you're gonna want something to absorb the wine. You don't want to be sloppy drunk on the cross, you know? What other powers do you get? Healing the blind. Well, I have to heal every blind person. Nah, just a couple. A couple? What about the others? Fuck them. Life sucks sometimes. What? Casting out demons doesn't help even slightly. Cursing a fig tree. Cursing a fig tree. Fuck that fig tree, right? What the fig tree do? You do not want to know. What else you got? Healing a fever. Healing the lame. I love that we call them that. Healing the deaf and mute. Healing lepers. Making a coin appear in a fish's mouth to pay the temple tax. I'm gonna make a coin appear in a fish's mouth so I can pay a tax with it. Yeah, is that not the most Jewish superpower you've ever heard of? Mel thought of that one. Can I make myself not feel pain from the crucifixion? I hate blacks and Jews. Hello. Hey, Mel. Jesus wants to not feel pain on the cross.
The scourge of
got hurt like a bitch. Thanks, Mel. Sorry, nothing I can do. Just send me down. It is time. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, thank God you're here. No pun intended. You gotta help us. The 5,000 people you gave bread to, well, they're so thirsty because the bread had no butter, so it was really dry, and now everyone needs water. But all we have are these 5,000 bottles of wine. Top G speaking. Hey, you need to make the water to wine thing go the other way. People are thirsty. I also eat queers. Hello. Hey Mel, Jesus wants the wine thing to go the other way. Well, Jesus' nature specifically says he's not a buzzkill. Thanks, Mel. Sorry, nothing I can do. Mel, come on, people are thirsty here. Are they Jews? Yeah. One water. Okay, we got one bottle of water. Just one? Thought it was more powerful than that. Maybe he's not God. Shit! I need to impress them so they think I'm maybe God, but they're not totally sure. Hey guys, check this out. Now check this out.
Oh my god, it was a prequel! What a useless card. Wow, that is worthless.
Impossible!
Why are they red now? Classic edition? Dude, there's only two of us. How? I don't fucking know. Oh, fuck your anus. What does that do? I can see my head. Converter, but I don't know what type I'm playing with. Just go for it since it's free. Alright. We're still living 50-50. What's the dummy for? Not gonna lie, this feels like a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Except it's actually lasting more than 2 turns, which sucks. Also, I love that that guy's just there watching this all happen. 2 players playing Russian roulette, and he's just perfectly fine with it. That one would have been great if it weren't for the fact that it takes so long still. Five minutes is still so fucking long though. Oh my god. Once I get this character to level 10, I'm never gonna deal with this fucking shit ever again. It's hot potato or something?
You know what?
Who has the bomb? Where is the bomb? Okay, so it's tag. It's tag. Well, I do like tag. At least there is a timer. 10 minutes is a long time, but I suppose that does let a lot of people have a long time having fun. Tough luck, Pari. Who? I know that's part of the hotline in katakana, but I don't know how else to read it. Why are you shooting me? We're not bombed! So you come here often? Nope. Don't think so. He's after me! Okay, that didn't do what I thought it would do. Oh, well, fuck. I wasn't gonna tag anyone in fucking 3 seconds. Oh wait, I don't have the bomb. Why is it always me? Seriously, what does this attack do? I don't get it. Oh my god, climbing. Where'd the others go? Can I just abandon? It'd be nice if I could fly. This view sucks. Oh, she just left, lol. My vote's on the guy who was who was just camping on the rooftop thing.
still gets under my skin about Invincible? It's not the blood, not the fights, not even that scene where Omni-Man wipes the pavement with Mark in Season 1. What really hits me is the thought that, out there, in all those endless universes, almost every Mark Grayson turns out a villain. Almost every single one. And only the original somehow stays human. At least, as far as we know, in the one reality we've actually seen. The Invincible War showed what happens to a superhero when he lets the darkness inside take over. We saw how each of them, driven by ego, became a weapon for Angstrom Levy. And it's worth noting, the mad scientist skillfully pulls their strings, playing on their desires and weaknesses. One just wants to get his mom back, and doesn't hesitate to send someone else's parents to the grave to make it happen. Others dream of expanding the borders of their own empires. But all of that, it pales, compared to what really matters. Each of them puts their own interests above the highest value in this world, human life itself. Why do so many paths lead to darkness, and only one to the light? And what the hell makes the original so different from all the others? Why do almost every version of Mark turn into conquerors, while only the original stands on the side of humanity? We've seen how the Graysons, chasing ever more power, lose their humanity. And the contrast with the original is staggering. He balances physical strength with morality, doubts, and, of course, responsibility. He doesn't become a blind slave to his powers, because he fully understands. With great power comes great responsibility. During the war,
Not me. At the church.
God, it's gonna take a while. Can we do some gambling? Hold on. Here we go. What? 4 stars, the 5 star. I guess. Is it? Yeah, I think so. No, the 5 stars are the 5 stars. The pity is 70, so it is nicer, I suppose. Man, those probabilities seem way too high. You ever read those and think those are too high? In all these gacha games? Are we at least allowed to guarantee the gender we want? Cause god, that'd be terrible. Oh, I just realized. Yep, god damn it. Well, not like there was any riveting gameplay that was missing. I'm literally just recording myself doing weeklies. No story or anything even happened. Well, I guess you guys would be blind to me being bad at the minigames. You're holding out hella so damn much from us. Yeah, this is so wacky that we just have this. I guess I should be trying to log in every day at least.
Shadows stretching in the dark, long figures walking, going.
The last thing you'd want to say there is ask if you can pick your gift.
And I know a bunch of strangers looking for peace while the shadows linger. There's no voice but a sound.
It's all the classic characters celebrating the 3-year anniversary, I suppose. Oh, never mind, here she is. Holy shit, let's fucking go. Oh my god! Zero and Shalom in the exact same rerun. Path to Nowhere knows how to make money, that's for sure. Days are passing by living this life. I'd skip Shalom any day of the week though. She's not worth it. She's been power prepped so hard. Plus, she was never all that interesting for me.
Such a bustling and glamorous foreign
And there's no
land.
home, there is no store.
Oh,
I know
are
somewhere
you here to see
there
Michi?
must be more.
Feel free to take the time to look at the new supplies, too.
Dude, I am not doing the fucking EX stages, and I am not beating this in under 80 seconds. Fuck you.
Shadows stretching in the dark, long figures walking, going up like sparks. There, and I know benches
I actually already read that.
looking for peace while the shadows linger. There's no voice but a silent whisper. No one can hear the cry of a dream.
What?
Let's see the real face. Let's see the sweet lie behind the mask of wine. Yes, so please, let's call her real name, and maybe she'll hear our cry. Days are passing by, living this life, not knowing what we're looking for. Gray, these walls are gray and there's no sky. There is no home, there is no soul. I know somewhere there must be more.
Huh. That's some good symbolism. Never thought of it that way.
Bittersweet nights and days without sun. Be no shine,
Don't flee from the light. Don't flee from in the arms of another. So please, let's see the real face. Let's see the sweet light behind the mask of wine. Yeah, I haven't seen any leaks because I usually go away from those. Juju already has all the info on fucking S-rank Hella. Well, I know what she's officially called in English now at least. But that's about it, because it's finally officially revealed. But like, I am fairly certain she's gonna be a true damage DPS, and that's gonna... I don't like the idea of that. Not because of some sort of thing I have on what Hella should and shouldn't be, but because that probably means I need to level up my true damage characters. They're gonna be supposed to working together.
Earlier, I ran into a bunch of thugs trying to threaten me for money. I went straight at them with my pipe and beat them till they were frickin' writhing and howling in pain. Took them all down by myself. Aren't I the coolest?
You know, it's a good thing you beat them up, honestly. You know, because like, if they found out how much money you had, they'd be even more hurt, I'd imagine. Okay, that was mean, honestly. I don't know why I said that.
Stranger looking for peace while the shadows linger.
There's no voice but a silent whisper. No one can hear the cry of a drifter. So please, let's see the real face. Let's see the line behind the mask of wine. Yes, so please. And I don't think I'll have enough to get all the new characters that's coming out. An excuse to spend money, I suppose. Living this life. It's off to We Cross Land for me now. Not knowing what we're looking for. Gray. These walls are gray and there's no sky. But there's no home, there is no soul. Dude, this musical list I have is fucking unhinged. Not really sure how I feel about it. 32 players and no one to play me with. I'm not entirely surprised anymore. I've been theory crafting. Do we play Alpha fast or do we play her slow? Theoretically, it feels like the best way to play her would be to play fast, right? Dark Whip, Deadly Portal. You're giving your opponent lots of ener, may as well force them to use them quickly. Okay, fuck you too. Honestly, with so few life bursts, this is a good hand. Let's just replace this one and hope for the best. That's not ideal. Not ideal at all. Can't let them deal 2 damage for free with their Signy. Should still work. Yep, let's go. It's weird seeing you have an action you can do in the graveyard. Very Yu-Gi-Oh! Like effect. I'm funny. Very funny. Yikes. I'm not sure how much metagaming it is, but it makes so much sense that we'd be playing Deciduous Return, right? Shouldn't I have just milled myself instead with uh Sayuragi? I honestly don't know. Unlike in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's a lot harder to pretend that I don't know what my opponent has than not. I'm at 26, I can still deal damage. Oh, that's a lot of mills. Oh damn, that's how that works. We have to mill 10. If we can't, then we can't defend. Oh, fuck you. Oh, right. Demon specifically must be removed. Oh no, I'm dumb. That was my whole game plan. Wait, what? But the city is returned. Am I dumb? If your life cloth would be crushed by your opponent's Signy, but we had no life cloth, it was a direct attack. Ah. I was thinking we can use this offensively, but I really feel like I'm better off using Purple Days. 'Cause that one offers more defense at the end of the day. Makes it harder to justify playing Mermaid and Curson though, since I'm not playing anything on my thing that costs these colors. It feels like such La Wonderland, you know? I'm keeping this since this is an offense turn into defense style effect that I think is really valuable. Oh boy, this is a bad matchup. We don't do well against the red, especially ones that fucking shit on our enter. And boy, does Yuzuki love shitting on our enter. Oh, blue. Not a lot of information. Uh, I'm gonna tank it. Yeah, still less is good. Hmm? Damn it. They surrendered? How? How did we win that? That was a crazy sequence of events. They could have won that, I think. Yeah, they just had all they had to do was put this on the 10,000. And then they still would have been able to do damage. I don't know. Either way, I'm quite happy with that, I suppose. One last game. Aye aye. I was supposed to attack with Under Alphas first, but not punished. Oh, that's crazy. Mm. Woof. I'm pretty sure we lose. I don't think switching to Dark Bear Trap is the answer, obviously. Perhaps we can try Trident Thunder again as our secondary defense. Together, at the cost of 5, they do still technically allow me to block 3 attacks. I also kinda wanna try Decidious Return. There's some pretty decent green demons. The frick. Those are the wrong effects.